Are we on? Hey, you guys, we're on.
Hello.
That was. We're still learning this live streaming thing. Like, if it was up to me, we would be live streaming literally from my phone. But Noah is very high tech, and he wants to do all kinds of cool studio stuff. So we've got multiple things going on here. Say hi, Noah. Hey, pop in and say hello. Just like stick your head in. So we like to call him New Guy Noah. Well, he's not that new anymore, but you know, until there's someone else, you're the new guy. And he's running the show behind the scenes, and I'm here with, of course, the one and only Zach of all trades, who you all know.
Hello.
And we're here to...
Here we are.
What are we doing?
We're promoting. We're promoting our new feature on the channel.
It took us forever to do this.
I know.
I mean, we've been talking about memberships for a long time, and I want to tell you guys, it was not an easy decision, okay? Because I recognize that, you know, not everybody's got money they can blow on something like supporting a YouTube channel. So, you know, we didn't want to alienate anybody, and we don't want any of our fans to, like, feel like they have to give us money or anything. Like, but we, you know, so it was a hard decision to come to. But, you know, we finally decided, like, you know, we need some extra money.
Yep.
I mean, we do.
Absolutely.
And the fact of the matter is that we travel all over the world, and we get on airplanes, and we have to hire boats and rent cars and rent a place to stay. And it costs a lot of money to make Blue World. And all of our fans are always saying, why don't you do like more episodes? And it's just like, it's hard.
Costs money.
Yeah, it costs money. So any way that we might raise a little extra money would be good. So we want all of you fans to know you are, you know, we still love you even if you're not members. But if you're members, I mean, we love you a little bit more.
Yeah. So EDM Mannequin, appreciate the donation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, EDM. We really, really, really love making this content. And we don't do it for the money, because if we did, we would stop doing it, because we lose money on Blue World. We should let you know that right now. Our production company does a lot of freelance work. We specialize in underwater production, as you probably know. And we work on giant screen films, and we work on television projects, and we work on all kinds of different things that help pay the bills so that we can make Blue World, which is our passion project, is what we love to do, because we get to go diving.
That's right.
Which is so cool.
It's the best part.
That's the best part. So, yeah, so any case, we really appreciate your memberships. And we're looking forward to see how this goes. Now, some of you might have noticed that I put a thing on the community tab yesterday that's only for members, sorry, asking what we should call our membership. Say, I'm using an example like Coyote Peterson over at Brave Wilderness. They have the Coyote Pack, which sounds pretty cool. That's a pretty cool thing, right?
That's a good one. It's catchy.
We need something like that.
Yep.
And I was like thinking like sharks, but you know what a school of sharks is called?
What?
A shiver. I mean, do we want to be the
Blue World
Sharky Shivers?
Yeah.
The Shivers?
Oh, yeah, there you
Sharky
go.
Shivers? I don't know, maybe. I don't know. And
It's up to you guys.
Right. And what about dolphins?
Family?
Pod?
Oh, with a pod.
Right?
That was bad, yeah.
Pod? Family. It could be family. That'd be kind of lame if we were all the family. I don't know,
Pod's
though.
a good one. I like
we got to
pod.
come up with something catchy. You know,
Yeah.
Do you want to be a school? I'm thinking no.
No.
I don't think we want to be a school.
Bunch of nerds.
No, a bunch of nerds in school. No, we don't want to be a school. So, but we got to come up with something cool. So we're working on it. We're hoping that you guys will give us some suggestions over on the community tab, and then we'll come up with a short list, and then we'll put it out a poll, and we'll kind of try to pick a winner, and that would be kind of cool, because we got to have that.
Yeah.
We can't just call our membership members. That's completely lame.
Yeah, right.
Noah, do you have any ideas?
I like the pod. I think that's
The pod's a pretty good
You like
one.
the pod?
yeah.
We're all peas in a pod?
The pod.
All right.
Somebody put up the shark tank. That's
The
not
shark.
a bad one.
I think we might get sued for copyright.
Yeah.
I think that might be taken. But yeah.
Oh, we have a new member.
We have a new member.
Oh, we have two new members
Oh,
now. These two, Hunter and Terry.
Hunter Faulkner and Terry Barrett. I should probably have the computer closer. Yeah, thank you guys for joining. Thank you
Yeah.
both. We are delighted to have you. We really are. We have no idea what the heck is going to happen with this whole membership thing. And the coolest thing, now I should go over what the tiers are, although it's You can read it on the community tab. It's pretty self-explanatory. But Noah over here made some really cool badges that are only for members. And he spent a lot of time working on them. They're really nice. They're not like stock pictures or something. Like they're completely made from scratch to represent Blue World. And so at tier 1, you get to have all these custom badges. And you can be sure that when I'm answering the comments, obviously I look at the comments almost every day and I try to answer all of them, or at least give a thumbs up or whatever, something that I like. I try to stay on top of that because it's kind of my morning thing. But I'm definitely going to be more interested in hearing what the members say, because the members are the hardcore fans, right? Mm-hmm. So obviously you're more likely to get a response out of me if you're a member, you got that badge. And the badge is what attracts my eye, right? You know, I'm scrolling through, I'm like, uh-oh, member, got to make sure to answer this one.
Absolutely.
Know? And then that's the first tier. Now on the second tier, of course, you still get the badges. But Noah, what do we get on the second tier? The second tier.
You get to see every episode 2 days before everyone else.
Boom.
Every episode 2 days early.
Now, here's the thing. It's a small perk. Mm-hmm. But everyone wants to be the first to comment. And usually there's about 20 people who comment first, like right at the same time when the video comes out at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning of the first Sunday of the month. And if you haven't figured it out by now, that is our schedule. 7 a.m. East Coast time, which is to say Boston, where we are. First Sunday of the month. Sometimes that Sunday is the first, sometimes it's like the 6th. So you never know. But just look at the calendar. You find the first Sunday of the month, 7 a.m. East Coast time, that's when it comes out. Unless you're a tier 2 member, in which case it's going to come out 2 days earlier. It's going to come out on Friday.
Yep.
And I don't know if we've decided if it's going to come out at a particular time, because YouTube doesn't actually allow scheduling the release for members. So it'll probably just come out when we get to the office at like 10. And we can go click.
Yep.
But you should know that we upload our episodes at least usually a month early, because we're on the road, we're traveling. We can't be here every time it's like a Sunday to upload. So we upload at least a month in advance, and we schedule the release. And so what that means is that the first episode in February is already uploaded and scheduled and exported and completed. So the tier 3 members will start to see their perks in the second episode of February. And you're like, the second episode? What? Well, every once in a while, we're going to have 2 in a month just because we've got something cool. We normally only do 1 episode a month, but every once in a while we have another episode that we feel like isn't maybe as long as it should be, or maybe whatever. We feel like if we gave that to you as our only episode that month, you might be like, So we keep it for the second episode. So we've got some like that, and we call them shorts, but they're still episodes. So the first episode that's going to have our Tier 3 members in the credits, which is what you get in Tier 3, will be February. It's the third Sunday in February. What is that? But that, of course, will be available to Tier 2 and Tier 3 members 2 days early. So it'll actually be on the Friday before that for the members. But basically what happens with Tier 3 is you get everything that the other tiers get. Of course, you get to watch things early, and you get all the, badges and all that stuff. But you also get a shout out. And by a shout out, we mean we put you in the credits of the video as a supporter. So that is a really kind of important thing. And what's going to happen is basically whenever we put the episode up, or we're exporting it from the editing system, Noah's going to pull that list off the site and put it in the credits. So there is a slight delay. So don't get mad if you sign up as a top tier member and then the very next video your name's not in it. It might take one to go, but you'll be in there. Don't worry. And you'll keep being in them as long as you're a tier 3. You're going to be, some of our fans are going to be in there a lot.
That's
I have a funny feeling they're going to be in there a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So that's going to be cool. You will be memorialized as long as YouTube stays as a company, which probably will be forever.
Yep.
because they have so much money. It's ridiculous.
Doing well.
So do we have some questions
So
we should answer, Zach?
we have Chris that just donated and asked us a question. He says, I'm gonna be a scuba diver when I grow up, and what is the rarest sea creature you have found? What's the rarest sea creature you have found?
What's the rarest sea creature you've found? Then I'll go.
The rarest sea creature that I have found. That fish that we just saw in Roatan. It's only in Roatan. I can't remember the name of it.
The indigo hamlet.
The indigo hamlet. That's the most rare.
That's the rarest?
Yeah, I think so.
You're not going
right?
to go with the 45-foot long whale
well,
shark.
the whale shark, but whale sharks aren't that rare. I mean,
No,
I feel like, well, maybe.
I
maybe
feel
it's
like
the whale
I
shark.
think they're rarer than indigo hamlets, but it's
Okay.
true. We were just in Roatan, and there's a fish there that's this bright blue fish that's really beautiful, and it is technically found in the whole Caribbean, but it's mostly found only in the Bay Islands of Honduras. And it was kind of everywhere, but
Yeah, there were a lot of them.
yeah, but it's a beautiful
Yeah, it's
fish,
a
and
good-looking fish.
you rarely see them. So it's so funny because I got all excited. You're like, what? It's a fish like this big. I'm like, it's an indigo hamlet.
It was cool.
All right, whatever. Yeah, that's a good one.
What's yours?
I think the oarfish.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
not the Greenland shark?
I think the oarfish is rarer.
Wow.
Yeah, the oarfish is rarer.
Oh.
I should probably do a dive story about that encounter.
Yeah.
That would make a good. Didn't we do that? No.
The oarfish?
Did we do the oarfish? We could do the oarfish. I could tell them.
Yeah.
So a couple of years ago, I was diving at the tongue of the ocean, which is a deep sea ravine off of Andros Island in the Bahamas. It's like 6,000 feet deep, but it's only like a mile offshore. So you can like basically drive right out there and be in 5,000 feet of water. And they put a buoy there with like legit 5,000 feet of cable to an anchor. And that buoy, it's a huge buoy, it's like 30 feet across. It's part of the US Navy's submarine testing ground. But this huge buoy, which they use, they'll tie ships up when they're doing research on sonar with the subs. This huge buoy, it's so big that marine life gathers under it. Like, you know, it just like gives them like, they feel like it's shelter in the open ocean. So you go out there and there's all these fishermen trolling around trying to catch fish, and you go and you scuba dive there and you go under it, and there's sharks and there's fish, and it's a really cool dive. And we were out there a few years ago, and a deep sea fish called an oarfish, which I had never heard of or seen, and I didn't know what it was at the time. It came up from the depths and looked at me and my dive buddy, and I got a couple of pictures, and my dive buddy got a couple of pictures, and then it went right back down and it was gone. It was only with us for like 30 seconds. And then when I got back, this was in the film days, I got back and I processed the film and I looked at it, I didn't know what it was, and I sent it off to a friend of mine who's an ichthyologist, which is a dude who studies fish, or dudette, and he said, man, you found an oarfish. It's incredibly rare. It's a deep sea fish. Nobody really ever sees them in shallow water unless they're dead. And we actually published a paper in Copia magazine, which is one of the scholarly journals for fish, about this first sighting of a live oarfish. And you can Google it. And I have some pictures, and I'll do a dive story about that.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun one.
That'll be a good one.
You know, it's interesting, if you're in the ocean enough, the odds are you're going to see something that has never been seen before. And it's happened to me a number of times. It's just like sheer accident. And half the time when it happens,
You don't even know it.
right,
Yeah.
I don't even know. I'm like, oh, some weird fish came up, whatever. I take a picture of it, all right, see you later.
Yep.
And then later I find out I was in the presence of something incredible.
Yeah, right.
So this happens a lot. So it's pretty awesome to be out there scuba diving and finding things.
Yeah, no kidding.
I still think I want to change your answer.
Yeah, the whale shark it is.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, I mean that was by far the most incredible encounter that I've had. So,
Tell them
yeah.
about that.
Well, so we were in the Galapagos, and we had been there for a week, and we had not seen a single whale shark the whole time we were there. And Jonathan, before we went, had said, "I have never gone to the Galapagos and not seen a whale shark." You know, cut to we're there and we haven't seen a whale shark. So it's like, you know, we have 1 or 2 days left, and finally we're out off the wall, and the way it works is you sit on the wall and you wait and you wait for anything to go swim by, and when it does, you swim out into the ocean, out into the blue with it. And we're sitting there, and then all of a sudden we hear the ding, 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 ding from the dive master who sees it. He's up ahead and he sees it coming, so we all swim out there as fast as we can, and it's incredible. There's a whale shark. It's amazing. And so that was really cool. And we finish the dive and we go up and we go, okay, we got that shot, but we really want to get a diver in the shot for scale to see how big these animals are, because you can't really tell if it's just blue in the background. So we're like, okay, we'll go down. We'll see if we'll get lucky again. Maybe she'll come around one more time and we can get somebody to swim up over it and just be in the same plane to show scale. And I was like, I'll do it. I'll be the one. I'll do it. And so we went down and we're waiting. And then all of a sudden, boom, there's the shark. The shark's coming. It's perfect. So I swim as hard as I can, as fast as I can out, and I get over the shark. And the shark, it seemed like the shark kind of slowed down as if it knew what was going on. And it just kind of swam along, and I was able to get on top of it. And we swam together for a while. And Jonathan was on the side taking the shot. And I mean, it was an incredible experience. I would have stayed with him as long as I could have. And unfortunately, I got a little tired and, can't last the whole time. So, yeah, it was quite the experience.
It was like the shark had taken direction.
Right.
Because it was
She
all right,
knew.
so if this shark comes around again, Zach, just
try to get out there.
casually go over and get in the shot and try to be exactly the same distance from the can, and then it all worked.
Yeah,
it was like, I couldn't believe that worked.
Yep.
It worked. The thing about that was we were shooting a project for a client.
Right.
So we were not there for Blue World. We were being paid to be there for a project, a giant screen project. And so we can share some still photos and stuff from it, but we can't use the footage in a Blue World because it doesn't belong to us.
Unfortunately.
That is unfortunately the side effect of when you do work for hire.
Yep.
Is they're paying you good money to be there, but they own what you shoot. So it's kind of the reason that we haven't done a ton of assignment work, is we'd rather do Blue World stuff where we get to own the footage and we get to do something with it.
Absolutely.
So it kind of kills me. There's all that beautiful footage that we
know.
shot that we can't use.
It bums me out, too.
It super bums me out. And that's kind of the same thing with the orcas. So we were just in Norway doing the whole orca thing, and it's been the #1 requested Blue World segment of all time. We did a poll a couple of years ago, what would your favorite episode be if you could have anything? What would it be? And Orca's won by a mile. Orca's won, and so we've always wanted to get and do that, but it's just so expensive.
Yeah.
So out of our budget.
And as it turns out, incredibly difficult.
Incredibly difficult. Incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
Those animals do not want to hang with us.
Nope, they're not interested.
They are not interested. And let me tell you, if a whale does not want to hang with you,
it's not hanging.
the whale is not going to hang with you. You cannot basically outswim plankton, never mind a whale.
Yep.
So, yeah, it was tough. I think the client was happy. We got
We
enough.
we did well.
We got enough.
Absolutely.
But, I don't know if we're ever going to be able to use it for Blue World. So, I feel bad about that. It's a real bummer.
Oh, well.
But so what have we got?
Let's see. Noah, what questions have come up? Anything? Price Diver donated. Thank you so much, Price Diver.
Thank you, Price Diver. I know who you are, man. I see your posts all the time. I really do read all the posts, and there really aren't that many. So, I mean, there's, I don't know, maybe 100 or so every day. It's not that many to get through. I read all of them, and I recognize all of you guys that are always commenting. Believe me, I know who you are, and I super, super appreciate your comments, and I love answering the questions, so keep them coming. And thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it.
Well, he asked, what was the most dangerous dive you've done?
What was the most dangerous dive? Probably the most, whoops, hang on, my mic just flapped off of me. Probably the most dangerous dive that I've done, I didn't even know was dangerous when I was doing it. So there's the dives that you kind of think about too much and you're like, this is probably dangerous. And then they turn out to be not dangerous at all. And then there's the dives that you don't think are gonna be dangerous that turn out to be really dangerous. And I actually told a dive story on Blue World Plus about my Greenland shark experience, which I think to this point in my career was the dive that scared me the most. It was the most terrifying thing that I did. And it was basically doing the rookie mistake of being too deep in water that's dark and cold and exerting myself too much and getting tunnel vision with nitrogen narcosis and then having a moment of realization that if I passed out, I would die and nobody would probably ever find me. And that was let's not do that anymore moment. And that is when I realized that there's no shot. I don't care if you've traveled to Canada and you've gone 7 days without seeing a Greenland shark. There is no shot that is worth risking your life for. Don't do that. So
Nope.
I'm not going to do that anymore. That was definitely my dangerous dive. And everybody thinks that the cave diving is dangerous, and it really isn't, because we are super, super, super careful.
Yeah.
And we follow the rules to the T, man. Because cave diving is only dangerous to the people that don't follow the rules. And we follow the rules like religiously. And so I feel like the cave diving is really not that dangerous.
Yeah.
You know what? When you're in diving that you know is dangerous, you're going to take every precaution. You're going to be super careful. When you get careless is when you're in diving that is easy and you don't think about it. You know, and you think about our friend Wes Skiles, who passed away on a dive in Florida in the ocean in 70 feet of water.
Yeah.
And that guy was like the top cave diver in the universe. Like he was like, he did everything. He was scared of nothing. He was like the most technical diver in the universe. And he had an accident in open water. And it's just because those are the dives where you're not worried.
Complacency will kill you.
You got to be careful. Got to be careful.
Yeah.
But overall, I don't want you guys to think scuba diving is dangerous. Scuba diving has a safety record that is incredible. And I think statistically, scuba diving is safer than skiing. And I'm not kidding about that.
Sounds right to me.
People are hitting trees and stuff, getting injured all day long on a ski slope.
Yeah.
Very, very rare for anybody to get hurt scuba diving. Very rare.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Noah, we got another question?
Tony, who's 9 years old, asks, what was the smallest creature you filmed?
Filmed well?
Yeah, right.
Well, right now I'm thinking of pygmy seahorses.
That's what I was thinking.
Right?
Yeah.
Because
Seahorses.
they're like, I mean,
Teeny tiny.
a pygmy seahorse is like the size of the fingernail on your pinky.
Yeah.
I mean, they're literally like a centimeter tall. They're super tiny. And when you film them and you show them like really big on the screen, they look like they're like this big, but they're actually like that big. They're really hard to film because the slightest bit of current and they go like in and out of focus because they're sitting on a sea fan, and sea fans do this.
Yep.
It's like they go out of focus, then they're into focus. Super annoying.
Yeah, but they're really cool though.
They're so cool.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite animals.
Yeah.
I mean, I love all seahorses, but pygmy seahorses are like nature's most perfect camouflage. It's like you look at them and you're like, what?
Yeah, it's amazing how the dive masters find them. It's like they're like, oh, there it is. And we're like, what are you talking? That's just the fan.
Well, I'll give you guys a tip. Like when we film them, okay, they're so small that you take the camera, you have to film them on a tripod. Like that's the only way. You have to hold the camera super still to film something that's this big. So we put it on the tripod, and then you turn it around and you're looking for it so you can zoom in and focus it. And you can't find it in the viewfinder. You have no idea where it's like just so camouflaged. And so the only way we can film them is the dive master has to point.
Yep.
And then you zoom in on the finger, and then you move your camera to the end of the finger, and then you go, oh, there it is. Like that's the only way you can film them.
Yep.
So you need to have a dive master that can find them, but also point.
That is the key.
Gotta have it. What else we got?
Noah?
Let's see. Scuba diving Violet asks, what are your favorite diving sites in Florida? Can't wait to get certified.
We have so many favorite dive sites.
Yeah,
in
right.
Florida.
Blue Heron Bridge is up there, of course.
Yes, you gotta go to the Blue Heron. What was her name?
Scuba diver Violet.
Yeah.
Scuba diver Violet.
Scuba diving
Hey,
Violet.
scuba diver Violet. Listen, Florida, if you live in Florida, you're in luck because Florida has so much good diving. If you go to Blue World TV,
Yeah, just look up Florida.
if you go to blueworldtv.com, right, our website, and you go to the tab under the videos where it allows you to search by location, and you search Florida, there's like this many episodes, like, and it's not just for us because it's relatively convenient,
No.
being 3.5 hours away by plane.
Right.
But there's just really good diving there.
Yeah.
We just did that episode.
Yeah, the reefs and wrecks of Florida. That
Yeah,
was
we're getting a
good
really
one.
good response from that.
Yeah.
And that the Governor's Walk, which is the 3 wrecks on
Oh,
that
yeah,
one
yeah,
dive. That's
yep.
a
That's a great dive.
phenomenal
That was
dive.
awesome.
But you know what I found out?
What?
that I did not know, that I found out from our fans that were writing in on the video.
Yep.
Apparently, there's normally like a ton of current at that site.
Oh, really?
And it's really hard even just to get down to the site.
Huh.
And they were one of the comments was saying that like they tried to do it one time and they had to take 3 tries.
Wow.
Because they had to get them up current
Yep.
enough and throw them off the boat so that they like drifted into the site.
Yeah.
Like we were doing in the Galapagos.
Right, yeah.
And apparently it could be very, very currenty.
That'd be a cool drift dive, though. You just fly by the wrecks one after the other. I mean, you don't get to see much,
I guess
but
you
it'd be
could
cool
hide,
to,
you could
yeah,
like
exactly.
poke in behind them, like, you know.
Yeah.
But we got
lucky. Yeah.
we got lucky. There's like no current the day we
Right.
did. It was like perfect conditions. And Andrea knows like everything, so she took
Yeah.
us everywhere. So
Yeah,
that was
she
cool.
was good.
So what was the question? Oh, other dive sites in Florida. Blue Heron Bridge is probably in the top 3. I
Yeah.
mean, Blue Heron Bridge, there's so many critters there, but you gotta go with a guide because they can find the critters.
Yeah.
If you went with me, you would see sand. That is all you would see. I would not find anything.
Yep.
But you go with someone that is a local guide that really knows what they're doing, like our buddy Jeff.
Jeff
and
Nelson.
you're gonna find a lot of stuff. You're gonna find. There's great wreck dives in the
Yep.
Keys. You know, the Vandenberg way down at Key West, and you've got the Spiegel Grove. There's some great wrecks in the Keys. They can have a lot of current. It just depends on the day. But they're not bad because you could go down the anchor line,
Oh, yeah, okay.
and then when you get on the wreck, you're pretty much out of the current. So that's pretty doable. And of course, if you're a cave diver, I mean,
The cave diving.
I mean, Florida is one of the top 3 cave diving destinations in the entire world. So if you get into cave diving, like there's so much good cave diving in
Yeah.
Florida. So we love Florida. Florida's awesome.
Florida's great.
Yeah. What else have we got?
Godzilla Reacts asks, what's your favorite dolphin dive?
Godzilla Reacts. Well, I mean, the best dolphin dive in the universe. Tell 'em.
Well, it's on Scotty's boat, the Dolphin Dream, out in White Sand Ridge in the Bahamas.
Yeah. So there's a live aboard boat that's based in Riviera Beach, Florida.
Florida.
And they go across the Gulf Stream overnight, and you stay on the boat for 7 days, and they do wild dolphin snorkeling because you can't really keep up with them with scuba gear.
Yeah.
They do snorkeling, but you can go scuba diving on the reefs, and you can do scuba diving with the sharks. They do shark dives, but their dolphin stuff is amazing because they know they've been doing it for 30 years. These dolphins, they know the sound of Scotty's boat. They come to his boat just because they know the boat.
Right.
They know they're going to get entertainment because all these completely uncoordinated people like us are going to fall off the back and splash around like we're drowning, and that's apparently really interesting
Yeah.
to them. They really love that. And so it's wild spotted dolphins. It's so great, and we've done 2 episodes on
Yep.
that, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so check that out on our channel. We've done 2. We're always on the same boat. It's the Dolphin Dream. It's out of Riviera Beach. They have a website. I think it's called Dolphin Dream Team.
Yeah.
And
That's their social
Captain
medias.
Scotty, he's been the single most captain of that boat for 30-something years. He's a dear, dear friend of mine. I've known him for almost 30 years.
Wow.
And if there's anybody that can put you on dolphins, he's the one.
Yeah, that's right.
He's the man. What else we got, Noah?
Tatum Page says, what's the deepest dive you've ever done?
What's up, Tatum? That's a good question. Now, I would like to preface this by saying that deep diving just for the purpose of deep diving is kind of silly. And deep diving on air is dumb. However, when I was younger, I was really dumb. So I did a lot of dumb things. And this one time, we were filming sharks at Kwajalein Atoll, and we were filming them for a number of weeks, and they like to hang out on this sandy shelf at about 150 feet. Now, the first week or so that we were going to this sandy shelf, I was narked out of my mind. I could barely function. My filming was terrible, because this nitrogen narcosis. Nitrogen, which is the predominant gas in air, which is what you're breathing from a scuba tank, air, not oxygen. Nitrogen, when you get deep enough, is narcotic. It basically makes you feel like you're drinking. And it gets really dangerous as you get too deep, which is why going too deep on air is really a bad idea. That's why they invented trimix, which is a gas where they take some of the nitrogen and they replace it with helium, which is an inert gas that doesn't hurt you, doesn't help you, doesn't do anything. but it displaces the nitrogen and it allows you to go deeper without getting nitrogen narcosis. So I was down at 150, and what I found out is you get a tolerance to nitrogen narcosis if you do deep diving a lot. I am super, super, super narcosis-y.
Susceptible to
I am
narcotics.
super, super susceptible. Like at 80 feet, I can start to feel it.
Wow.
And most people will be like, they don't feel anything.
Yeah.
And when they get to 120, they start to feel it. But me, I start to feel it at like 80.
Wow.
And I feel like this is a kinship to Jacques Cousteau because he complained about the same thing.
Hey,
I
there
feel
you
like
go.
we're cut from the same cloth,
Boom.
me and Captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, so any case, I built up a tolerance on Kwajalein diving to 150 feet for like a couple of weeks. And me and my buddy Tom Krasuski, who were working on that film together, there was a ledge that was lower that we really wanted to know what was down there. And we were like, we should check that out. But it looked kind of far down, and we're already at 150, so we're like, eh. But what happened was by like the third week, we had built up enough tolerance that we felt like we could probably go down to that next shelf. So we went to that next shelf, and it was 201 feet. It was actually 200, but I got
You
really,
put your
really,
arm down?
I got really, really, really low so I could go one more foot and be 201. And I will tell you that even though at 150 I had no narcosis, not much narcosis because
Yeah.
I had built up, oh man, at 200 I was completely drunk.
Wow.
I had the tunnel vision. I was like, meh, and I could not have filmed anything if my life depended on it. We went down, we took one look around, we were like, yeah, okay, been there, done that, let's get out of here. And we went right back up.
Yeah.
So that was the deepest I've ever been. That is the deepest I ever wish to go.
Yeah.
I do not need to go
no
ever
point.
any deeper than that.
Yep.
Now Todd's all Mr. Trimix.
That's
he
right.
He wants us to go do
Isn't
deep
that right,
stuff.
Todd?
Todd's Mr. Trimix. Cameraman Todd, who's not here today, but since he's not here, we can pick on him.
Yeah, he's been
basically.
popping up in the chat. I
Oh,
think
is he
he's
popping
around.
up in the chat?
He
All
said
right.
a few things. He
So,
might not be here anymore.
Cameraman Todd is Trimix certified, and he's gone like really deep. And of course, like Brian K. Cook, who did the deep diving in ancient caves. Our good buddy Brian K. Cook is a super deep diver. I mean, he's done 600 feet.
Yeah.
And that is just like, what?
That's insane.
What?
That's insane.
You know, okay, if you can give me the gas that makes me not be, completely out of my brain at that depth, that's one thing. But the decompression is terrifying.
Yeah, right.
To hours and hours and hours of decompression before you can come to the surface. Like, dude,
It's got to be so boring.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to do that.
know
You know
about
what
that
I
one.
like? 30 feet of water.
Yeah.
Lots of beautiful sunlight, good color, and
I'm
some
with ya.
nice dolphins or
Yep.
sharks or
Something to look at.
coral reef, something colorful. Yeah, that's my place.
I'm with you.
You know, I'm not into exploring the unknown. I'm into filming cool things.
Yeah.
And if I can film them shallow, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with that because I'm lazy.
Yeah.
I like light.
And it's safe.
Yeah. What else?
What else, Noah?
Whale 100 asks, what's your favorite aquarium?
Whale 100.
Whale 100.
Well, I think right now my favorite aquarium. Now you got to understand, I haven't been to every aquarium, so obviously there might be aquariums better than the Georgia Aquarium. But at this point in my life, the Georgia Aquarium is the best aquarium I have ever seen.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
That's
and they've
cool.
got whale sharks in the Ocean Voyager
That's
exhibit.
wild.
And when we were there, they didn't have much else, but now it's been like a while. Now they've got dolphins and they've got beluga. I think I have belugas. Like they have a lot of stuff there, but it's a really, really wonderful place. And I want to tell you guys, I want to tell you something that a lot of people don't know. I am super not into, I do not think it's cool to take animals from the wild and put them in captivity, but mostly I mean marine mammals.
Yep.
I don't think a fish really knows the difference.
No.
Honestly, I don't think their brain is there. I think they're like food. If you feed the fish and
They're
even the
happy.
sharks, I think they're perfectly happy in an aquarium as long as they're being fed.
Yep.
I think they're perfectly happy. I don't think that they have the knowledge to be like, I'm in jail. I don't think they know that.
Yeah.
Marine mammals do, and I think it should not be legal to take marine mammals out of the wild and put them in captivity. However, you should know there are so many bottlenose dolphins right now in captivity around the world. that are making babies that they have too many dolphins and they don't know where to put them all. And so a lot of aquaria are building exhibits to take dolphins because they need the space.
Yep.
They need to give them homes. And these are dolphins that can never be released into the wild. They were born in captivity. They haven't got the slightest idea how to catch a fish. That does not come from their birth.
Right.
That is taught by their parents in the wild. They are very, very smart. They learn from their parents how to eat. You can't take a dolphin that was born in captivity and just put it in the ocean. It will die. It will starve. And so when you see a captive bottlenose dolphin, don't immediately think that whoever's got it is evil. I mean, they are evil if they don't have a good facility for that animal and if they don't take care of that animal.
Right.
But if they take care of that animal and they have a good facility for that animal has never known the ocean. They don't know. They think they're in a pretty good place where they get fed and they have people that take care of them. So I just want to say that for the record, I don't have a problem with bottlenose dolphins in captivity only because that's
they
all
can't survive anywhere else.
that's all they got, man.
Yeah,
That's
right.
all they got.
Yeah,
So let's not talk about orcas, though. That's, not cool.
Yeah.
Not cool.
So Chris donated again and has another question. Thank you, Chris. What is the deepest part of the ocean you went to, and what did you find there?
Well, the deepest part goes back to my story about the tongue of the ocean with the oarfish. I mean, I think that's probably the deepest place that I have been.
And that's something cool to see when
Yeah.
the deepest place you've been.
I was only 50 feet deep, but
Right,
some
but-
stuff came up from 5,000 to say hello.
Yeah, that's
I
wild.
personally was not going to go to 5,000. What with the whole nitrogen narcosis at 80.
That whole thing, yeah.
Not going to get past like maybe 100. I'll be like, forget it, man. It's the deepest part of the ocean. We have not been to the Mariana Trench yet.
Yes.
James Cameron is going to call any day and offer us a ride in his big sub.
Yeah.
Come on, James.
That's right.
Come on, James.
Come on, James.
Share the love with some YouTubers.
So this is a good question. Caesar Lopez donated, thank you, Caesar, and asked how any more cave diving in Florida coming up. So much.
We can't stop.
Yes.
Here's the problem that we have right now. Every time we go cave diving, we shoot like 5 episodes. And then we come home and we're like, we cannot become the cave diving Blue World channel. We have to just keep it. So we have like cave diving episodes queued up for like the next year.
Yeah.
And what we're doing right now is we're doing a month of something, then cave diving.
Yep.
Then a month of something else, then cave diving. Then a month of something else, then cave diving.
Yeah.
So if you like cave diving, stay tuned.
There's plenty more
it's
coming.
Never ending. And if you guys, you are gonna love, if you like our cave diving episodes, you're gonna lose it when you see our one in February.
Yeah.
Oh, the one in February, Shangri-La Cave.
Puts them all to shame.
It's pretty fun. Pretty fun episode.
Yeah. Noah, you got any more questions?
70s rock band asks, are you guys planning on getting into Rebreathers?
First of all, Mr. 70s rock band, I just want to say one thing to you. Rush. Greatest band of all time. All right? Okay, what was the question?
Are you getting into Rebreathers?
Are we getting into Rebreathers?
Well,
It's funny that you should ask.
yeah, maybe.
So when we were down working with Ed Sorensen on the Mariana segments, we did the one with Ed Sorensen at Jackson Blue. We have another one with Ed coming up in a couple of months. Ed was rocking his Kiss side. What was it? It's
The
side
sidekick?
winder.
Sidewinder?
The side winder rebreather, and he really kind of
Yeah, the sidewinder.
talked us into, like, he kind of made a very compelling case that we should get those.
So there might be more cave diving segments coming up where Jonathan and Todd learn to rebreather dive.
So Todd already does rebreathers.
That's right.
And I did rebreathers 20 years ago, but I'm not current on any of the new ones. I kind of gave up rebreathers, not because I didn't love them. I think they're awesome, but it was just such a hassle to travel with all the stuff that you need for them. And the reality is that 90% of the work that we do, you don't need a rebreather for, unless you need to be really gas efficient or you need to stay a long time. You're trying to explore a cave that goes a long way, so you need a really good gas supply. You don't, or if you need no bubbles because you're filming hammerhead sharks and they're afraid of bubbles. There's a few reasons that rebreathers are really great for those types of things. But for mostly what we're doing, I mean, we're going to go down and we're going to do a segment on the Blue Heron Bridge. Like, We don't need rebreathers.
Right.
We're going to carry all that stuff
Yeah.
just for, it's not worth it. So we've kind of like gotten out of rebreathers, but then cameraman Todd has been trying to pull us back in.
That's right.
And now I think the hook has been set because Ed Sorensen kind of talked us into it. So we're going to probably be doing a segment in the spring where I'm getting rebreather certified on the KISS Sidewinder. And Todd is going to do a crossover class from the inspiration to the Sidewinder because he's got an inspiration. And you're going to be doing your third and fourth cave diving classes so you can be full cave.
That's right.
Full
It's gonna be a fun trip.
I got to tell you guys, he has been a big surprise to me because as a general rule, this is a pretty universal rule. Most underwater filmmakers start out as scuba divers and then they get interested in the filming and then they learn to film. It is very rare to take someone that is a good filmmaker and teach them to scuba dive and have them be good at that. Is very, very rare. In fact, Howard Hall said that pretty much can't happen and he couldn't believe what a great diver you were.
That was a big compliment.
And that was only like, dude, you were only like 20 dives in.
Right.
Like after certification.
Yeah.
This guy's a natural. Like he's a fish.
I learned from the best.
Well, yes, you did. Wait a minute. That's Whalen. He learned from Zach Whalen.
He's
the best.
He is.
So and so in any case, you know, normally I wouldn't have a guy that, how long you been diving? 3 years now?
Yep.
Normally I wouldn't suggest that someone that's only been diving 3 years is like ready to go cave diving. But you are legit totally ready to go cave diving.
Well, I love it. So
it's going to be fun because, you know, then we've got another cave diver in our midst and it'll be easier for me to talk the team into more cave diving.
That's right.
You guys want to go cave diving?
More cave segments.
We were going to go for February vacation and do more cave diving, but the wife put the
So Dreammaker789 donated and asked, well, he said, Dive Talk asked you guys if you would go diving with them in 2 weeks. Just thought I'd send it out there. Well,
Dive Talk did?
Well, apparently Dive Talk in the chat must have said that and we missed it. But I don't think in 2 weeks we'll be able to go. I mean, we would love to go diving with them, 100%.
We are super psyched to go diving with Gus and Woody. We love those guys. They're so much fun. They're such nice guys. You know how they come across on camera being like really nice? They are exactly that. They're just really, really nice, humble guys. They don't have all this scuba diver, cave diving bravado stuff that drives me crazy. They're just really great guys, and we can't wait to go diving with them. But in 2 weeks, we're supposed to be in Antarctica.
That's right.
For a client, so no Blue World.
No Blue World. But
maybe COVID's gonna make us not go. I don't know. We'll see.
That's another whole thing.
We'll see. But we are supposed to be there. But we're totally gonna dive with those guys.
Absolutely.
And in fact, I was gonna do my rebreather class with Woody, but he's not an instructor on the Sidewinder. So I think I'm gonna do it with Ed. But you know, that's a bummer. But we definitely want to go dive with those guys.
Absolutely. Noah, you got anything else for us?
Jonathan, why in some videos are you using the old style 2-hose regulator?
So it's an old style, but it's actually a new regulator made. It's a modern regulator made by Vintage Double Hose. They're actually in Florida too, and they started out as a company that just restored antique regulators. There's a whole bunch of scuba divers that love classic antique gear, and they like to do, and if you've seen our episode on that at Silver Springs, there's a whole group of guys that love to use vintage scuba gear. What happened was I started using, in 2004, Aqualung came out with a modern double hose. And I wanted to try it because earlier in Blue World, back in the first season, I used a rebreather a lot. And one thing that was interesting about it, never mind the lack of bubbles or whatever, I had this double hose that made me look unique on camera. So if I'm diving with somebody else, you could always tell which one was me because I had the double hose. So I decided to try this regulator, this new regulator that Aqualung made called the was it a Mistral? I can't remember what they called it. And what I liked was I still have the double hose rebreather look, but I don't have to carry all that rebreather stuff around. And then what I really liked about it was that my bubbles came out the back. So when you're filming, instead of the bubbles coming up right in front of your viewfinder, which is annoying, they're out the back. So not only are they not in front of your viewfinder, they're not bubbling up over your ears, which is super loud. And they're another like this far away from the fish that you're filming. So the bubbles are back there. And what I found is that with that regulator, I could just get closer to things. It was quieter for me. My bubbles were not as noisy. They were back there. If I'm shooting upwards, they didn't get in my shot because they were back far enough that they were out of my shot. So I really liked it. But that particular Aqualung regulator was really kind of, what's the nice way of saying it? It wasn't
Not
very
as good as it could be.
It wasn't that great. I didn't love it for a variety of reasons that are not important. It wasn't that great. And I was approached by one of the people from Vintage Double Hose in Florida, and he said, "Have you tried our modern, double hose regulator that's built like the classics but with modern guts?" And I was like, "No, I haven't tried it." And they let me try one, and I just loved it. And so they built me a couple of them. And so I have those, and I love them because they put the bubbles out the back. They breathe really well. They look super cool on camera. It looks a little retro, but you can always tell which one is me.
That's it.
I really like it. Now, I can't use it all the time, right? Because with cave diving, it's technical diving. You have to change regulators between your tanks in the middle of the dive. You can't have a big hose flopping around. You can't take that out of your mouth because the exhaust hose will fill up with water. It's fine, you just blow it out, but it'll float around and it's not a technical diving regulator. If I'm diving, in an open water dive and I'm filming, it's my favorite filming regulator. It keeps all the bubbles out of my face. I love it. But don't use it for technical diving. So you won't see me using it in cave diving. And sometimes you won't see me using it in the ocean because, we have economy of scale with Blue World, which is to say, we generally don't go someplace and try to shoot one segment. It's not a good use of your budget. So we will usually, if we're going to go somewhere and film, we're going to try to film 3 or 4 segments there. And if any of those segments require a single hose reg, like if there's cave diving or any kind of technical diving, then I usually won't bring the double hose. I'll just bring the single hose because that's the one I'm going to have to use. It's easier than bringing 2 regulators. And it's the same thing with fins. If I'm going to go cave diving and I need to frog kick, I'm going to take my Scuba Pro Go Sports, which are my favorite frog kicking fins, and I'm not going to take my force fins because those are not good for frog kicking and they're not good for free diving. They're good dive fins. But so if I'm going on a dive trip and going to just be doing open water diving, I'll take the double hose regulator, I'll take my force fins, but I like to switch up the right gear for the right dive. And this is the reason that we don't do product endorsement stuff. We've been approached by a number of companies to represent their scuba gear. I'm not going to name any names because there's no need to. And the problem is that I don't want to be stuck because of some contract with a scuba equipment manufacturer. I don't want to be stuck having to use something that isn't the right tool for the job because
it doesn't have their name on it.
Yeah. So I want to be free to use whatever gear is the best for that situation. So we both have a whole bunch of different gear. The whole team does a whole bunch of different gear depending on what we're doing, and we bring what is the best thing for that trip. So it's interesting because when we come home from a trip, we unpack and we put all of our gear back. Even if we're going out next week, we put it all back. The fins go in the fin department, and the masks go in the mask department. The regulators get hung up, the BCs get hung up, the wetsuits get hung up. And then when it's time for the next shoot, we start fresh. Okay, what do we need on this shoot? I don't care what I took last shoot. What do we need for this shoot? Yeah. And we start all over. We look at everything, we pull out the stuff that we need.
He's much more organized than I am. All of my stuff just goes in a bin, and then I run through it and try to find what I need. It's a good way to lose stuff. So
I have shelves.
yeah, right. Pixel Grizzly donated and said, hard agree on Rush. I think they're a Rush fan.
Oh, yeah?
Do you guys plan on visiting Aquarius Reef Base again?
You know, yeah, absolutely we plan on that. And in fact, we were talking to Tom Potts, who's the director down there, you know, right before COVID about coming down to do another segment with them. And we were actually working out a deal where we were going to do an overnight.
Oh, I did not know about this.
You didn't know about this?
No, that sounds awesome.
We were going to do an overnight. And what they were trying to do was set it up so that they could have some people that would pay to do an overnight with us. And just, you know, as a fundraiser for Aquarius. They need to make some money too. Right. And we were like, sweet. But then COVID hit, and like after COVID, we're going to pick that back up again. So many cool things we were going to do.
Yeah. Thanks, COVID.
So many cool things that we were going to do that got derailed. I mean, we had a company that makes submersibles that's running a trip to the Titanic. They did not invite us to the Titanic.
No.
But they were
were
going to take us on like a 1,000-foot dive in their sub. And we're going to do that when COVID is done.
Whenever that happens.
We are going to do that. Yeah. We have so much cool stuff that is going to get done eventually.
Eventually. Everett Shuley donated and said, when will Ancient Caves be coming to San Diego? I'm super excited to go see it.
Oh!
I know, that's a great one.
First of all, thank you for knowing about Ancient Caves. You know,
absolutely.
Here's the story. So we spent 4 years making our first IMAX film. We're so proud of it. We are so proud of this film. It is such a good film, if I do say so myself. And it was released in March of 2020. Literally.
The March 14th, like the day before everything shut down.
Literally the day that COVID shut everything down in the world. That was the day Ancient Caves was released. And then they didn't show it anywhere for a long time. And then in fall of 2021, it really started opening in some theaters. It opened in Boston. It opened in, I can't remember. Fort Lauderdale.
Minnesota.
Cincinnati, Minnesota, Chicago. And then now we have the second wave of COVID here getting crazy. So we're not sure. However, here's what I'll tell you about San Diego. San Diego just converted over to the new IMAX laser system, which is amazing, and they got rid of the film projector. And San Diego is one of the 7 theaters that's part of the consortium of IMAX theaters that helped fund the film. So they are definitely showing it because they helped pay for it. And I'm not quite sure when it's opening, but soon.
Yeah, if you keep your eyes on their website, you'll see us on there soon.
It's opening soon in San Diego. And just to let you guys know, I mean, it will be opening all over the world. It's just that COVID has put everybody's release schedule back because all the theaters were closed and they didn't run any films for like 6 months to a year. And now that they're reopened, they still have to oblige by those contracts, and they have to show those films that they were going to show in 2020 and in 2021 before they can show Ancient Caves, because they have a contract that they have to. And so I don't think we're going to see widespread release of Ancient Caves for, sadly, probably another year.
Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately. The good news is that when it goes into a theater, these institutional theaters that are part of museums and aquaria, they will show the film for a solid 6 months. So it's not like it comes out for a weekend. I mean, they run for a good long run.
Yeah. So
you have ample opportunity to go see it. And you're going to love it. And it doesn't matter if you see it on a dome or if you see it in 3D on a flat screen. It's awesome in both.
You should see it both.
You should see it both,
if you can.
Actually. Because on the dome, some scenes are better on the dome. And in 3D, some scenes are better in 3D. So it's like, the best way to see it is to see it on both. Yeah. And we're lucky that we've been able to see it on both because we've been going to some of the premieres. And it was really fun. The first time we saw it in 3D in Fort Lauderdale on the IMAX 3D, I was blown away.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
I was like, dude, we did this?
Yeah,
what?
Right, I know.
What?
It's crazy.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
What else we got, brother?
Noah, you got any more questions?
Yeah, Nunya Business says, diving is so scary to me. How should I start?
None your business.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay, here's the thing about diving. Is it scary?
No, not at all. I mean, if you are comfortable in the water, if you can go in a pool and dive underwater and swim around, diving, you'll love it. I mean, there's nothing scary about it.
It sounds so much more dangerous than it is.
Yeah.
And so much more scary. And everybody that is thinking about overthinking it, they think it's going to seem so scary.
Right.
And then when they do it, they have so much fun and they realize it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, when a kid can't ride a bicycle, so he's terrified
Yep.
of trying to learn a bicycle and falling and hurting himself. And then once he actually learns to ride the bicycle, he's like, not only is
This is the greatest thing ever.
the greatest thing ever, it's so easy and it's so fun, like why was I scared of this?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? People always say to me, like, I hate snorkeling, I'm not good at snorkeling, I feel like I would die if I went scuba diving. I'm gonna tell you right now, scuba diving is 100 times easier than snorkeling.
Yeah.
Water goes down your snorkel, water does not go in your regulator.
Nope.
On the surface, you're getting splashed around. You might get seasick. You get water down your snorkel. Like snorkeling, forget snorkeling. Snorkeling is way too much work.
Yep.
Scuba diving is 100 times easier
Yeah.
and gentler.
Yeah.
Once you're underwater, everything's calm.
Yep.
You got to
And
try
there's
it.
cooler stuff to see too
Yeah.
when you scuba dive versus snorkel.
And you can get certified at 10.
Yeah.
Both of my kids were certified when they turned 10. You can get certified with an adult of your choice, your favorite uncle, your mom, your dad, whatever. But trust me when I tell you, you can handle it. Really, you can. It's just not that hard. I mean, if I can do it, it can't be that hard. What else we got?
What else we got?
Not a lot of questions. Brennan McCabe says, Ancient Caves blew me away, even compared to Blue World. I got to see it 2.5 times too, because the IMAX theater's audio didn't play for the first 2.5 times.
Huh.
I want to know what theater that
Yeah,
was.
me too.
You gotta spill the beans on which theater couldn't play the audio.
Yeah.
We'll have some words for them. Hopefully they played it at the proper volume level.
Yeah, right.
Thank you for going to see it. I really appreciate that you saw it, and I'm glad you liked it. I'm going to say it again, but we're really proud of it. Like, we spent a long time making that movie, and no expense was spared, and we worked really hard at it to make the ultimate IMAX movie, and we've gotten some feedback from some cave divers that have gone to see it that are like, it's the closest thing they've ever seen to cave diving on a screen.
It's great.
So we're glad you went to see it. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah. Watson Matt 2, I assume that's Matt Watson. Thank you for the donation.
Thank you.
Much appreciated. Yoshi, aka Justin, asked, any opinions on Finding Dory? It's a great film.
So we did a video. Isn't it on Blue World Plus? We did a video. I think it's on Blue World Plus, but it might still be on the main channel because we might be from before we broke it off. We did a video on breaking down like 5 ridiculous things in Finding Dory that you have to search for. That's kind of funny. But so yes, we do have opinions on that. The worst thing being the fish jumping from the salt water into the mop bucket and not having that be a problem. Never mind the fact that all the animals talk. But
There's that.
Oh, and the speaking whale.
Yeah.
They speak whale, but it's a whale shark, not a whale.
Yeah.
Come on, really?
Come on.
Disney.
Yeah. Let's see. Noah Hernandez asked, have you ever dived in Monterey area in California? One of the best dive sites in my opinion.
We have not been to Monterey. We've done a lot of diving in Southern California, and we've done a fair amount in Seattle and Puget Sound and all the way up to British Columbia. So we've done down low and up high, and we haven't done in the middle. Mm-hmm. And we've been thinking about a Monterey segment because there's a lot of cool stuff there.
Yeah.
And the thing that I really want to see that the segment would be so fun is there's kind of a famous seal there.
Oh, right.
That feeds on divers' flashlights.
Mm-hmm.
So the divers will go night diving and they'll like they'll be pointing to a crab, and this seal will come down and grab it.
Yeah.
And it sort of hangs with the divers and goes hunting with their lights.
That'd
so
be
you
a really
kind
good
of got to be
segment.
careful what you point your light to.
Yeah, right.
Point it at my buddy, sort of thing. So we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
We have a lot of places on the bucket list.
That'll be good.
Yeah, we have a lot of places.
Jeff Yoder says, Tony, age 9, wants to know what the creepiest animal you've dived with is.
Ooh, creepiest animal we've dived with. Are there any creepy ones?
Creepy
What's
ones.
creepy?
Bobbit
worm's kind of creepy.
Yeah, the bobbit worm is creepy.
That's kind of creepy.
The black water dive we did was there were some
Kinda
creepy animals, I
spooky,
guess.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is that, like, I don't know about you, but
I don't think anything's creepy.
I'm
You know, it's
fascinated
super
with
cool.
I'm fascinated with marine life.
It's like super ugly fish that you might think are like, oh, scary. They're super cool.
You know, it's so funny though, because like I'm not a big fan of like bugs. I'm not the kind of guy that would pick up a big bug and be like, oh,
Yeah.
he's so cute. Like I would not do that. But if he's underwater,
Yeah, right.
he's an underwater bug. For some reason, I think the underwater bugs are really adorable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'll be picking up the crabs and
Right.
you know, like, hey, look, it's a crab. You
Yeah.
know, on land I'd be like, ooh, don't touch that.
Get away from that.
Like I'm playing with the sea snakes.
Yeah.
I would never go near a land snake. No, not ever. Never.
Robert Bogus thinks the wolffish is creepy. I highly disagree.
Oh, the wolffish are so sweet.
Yeah, they are.
They have such a mild manner. They're just so chill.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they're creepy at all. They are maligned by their teeth. You know?
Yeah.
If they didn't have teeth,
Yep.
everybody would think they were adorable.
Right. People are saying moray eels. Again, I think moray eels are so cute.
I think they are too.
Yeah, they're really
And
cool.
they're super mild. They don't come
Yeah.
out and attack you.
Right.
And they're doing this thing with their mouth that looks, they're just breathing.
Yeah, right.
They're just breathing and looking at you.
Breathing.
They're just like, hey, what's up, man?
Yep.
Yeah, morays are, they're cool. I think they're great.
Absolutely.
Baron wants to know about the trip to Norway and how that was.
So the trip to Norway. Here's the thing that's weird about orcas in Norway. So Norway is about the only place in the world that you can reliably enough find orcas that you could potentially go and film them without a huge, huge risk of never seeing them. Because they're seen in other places, but they're much more rare. And so you got to get really lucky to see them. In Norway, they're around. It's much higher likelihood. So everybody goes to Norway. But the whales don't get there to feed on the herring until like October. And by like mid-November, there's no sun because it's, where they're at is basically north of the Arctic Circle. And so for like 3 months, the sun never comes up. So, it like, you'll see a little glow on the horizon, then it goes away. And so there's a really short window of about 2 weeks for the whole year where there's orcas and a tiny little bit of sunlight. Like sunrise is at like 11 a.m. and the sun comes up just a tiny bit over the horizon and then it goes back down. And it's sunset 1 hour later.
Yep.
And so you go sunrise goes right into sunset with a 2-hour day. And that's your light. And the light's not very good.
No.
Pretty dark. How dark is it?
It's like nighttime.
It's super dark.
It's dark.
So you have a 2-week window to film the stupid things. And
Yeah.
back in the day, maybe 10 years ago, it was a lot easier to get shots of the orcas because what they were doing was they're feeding on herring and they're super preoccupied feeding on the herring. They don't really care if you get in the water and film them because they're feeding and they're ignoring you. What's happened now is that the orcas have learned to fish at night around the fishing boats. So you get these fishing boats that come out during the herring season to catch herring, and they're scooping up their net, and these herring are escaping, they're jumping out. And the orcas are smart enough to figure out that they just pick them off as they jump out. And super easy. They don't have to herd them. They don't have to stun them with their tails. They don't have to use a lot of energy to catch these fish. So during the daytime when we're out there trying to film them, they're all full and they're not interested in us.
Yep.
And because they're not interested in us and they're not preoccupied with feeding. They're just like thinking of ways to stay away from us.
Yeah, right.
And so every time you get near a pod and you jump in the water, they just go around. You wouldn't even see them underwater. And the other thing is that it's become really popular. So there's like, how many boats are out there?
Like 30. I mean, it was crazy how
Yeah.
many boats there were.
Like,
I mean, they were dropping, there was a lot.
they were dropping like 20 divers in the water.
Right.
And then there's all these sightseeing boats they're not putting divers in the water,
Yeah,
just
the
guys,
whale watching
just
boats.
people with cameras, whale watching boats. And so the whales are like around all of these boats, and they're just like, dude,
Yeah, uninterested.
leave us alone.
Yeah.
And so it's become a lot harder these days to film the orcas, and I feel very lucky for what we did get.
Yeah, absolutely.
'Cause having been there now, it turns out that like National Geographic was there the 3 weeks before us, and they came a little too early. They had way more light, but they had basically no orcas, and they didn't get a single shot in 3 weeks. They didn't get a single orca on camera.
Yeah.
I don't know what that crew was and what they were filming for. I feel for them. That's bad. That's a bummer.
Absolutely.
So knowing that, we got super lucky
Yeah.
because
did
we
well.
actually got some pretty good shots.
Yeah.
But they're not really doing anything. They're not feeding.
No, they're just swimming by.
They're just swimming by. It's like,
Yep,
okay.
exactly.
There they go. So,
Yeah.
what else we got? Anything?
Miso from South Africa says, "Is there any animal encounters or equipment close counters that almost or did go wrong that is memorable?"
Have we had things go wrong? Usually when it goes wrong, it's at the airport.
Yeah, right. Not that I can think of. Nothing like close call-ish.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking the worst thing we ever had was when they confiscated our camera systems in Egypt.
Yeah, right.
But like that wasn't underwater.
No.
I mean, we've definitely had a dive ruined because we flooded a camera. We've flooded some video cameras. And
Yeah.
We've, nothing really. No, not really.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
not that I can think
no really
of.
terrible close
Knock
call.
on some wood.
I guess we're just ultra safe.
Yeah, that's right.
We don't have too many close
Super
call
safe.
stories.
Yeah, which is good. It's a good
It's
thing.
good. You don't want to have a lot of those.
Yeah.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
What do we got next? Anything?
James says, "What was the most prehistoric-looking animal you filmed, in your opinion?"
Prehistoric.
Prehistoric?
I mean, I feel like sea turtles are about the most prehistoric things we see.
Yep.
I mean, those things haven't changed. Sharks haven't changed. I mean, sharks are pretty prehistoric.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think we filmed any like we haven't filmed a coelacanth or any like those really exotic prehistoric things. Those things are super deep.
Yeah.
We've already discussed my feelings on that.
Greenland shark, was that prehistoric looking?
I guess the Greenland sharks are pretty, sharks in general, but yeah, Greenland sharks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think that's probably a good place to
Well,
wrap it up.
we're gonna wrap it up.
All right.
So how long have we been on here? How much have we bored everyone?
An hour and 10.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, listen, everybody, I want to thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Check out our merch.
Yeah.
Check out our merch. Check out our membership, and we're gonna figure out what we're gonna call the members.
Yep.
Maybe Pod or Shiver.
People are really liking the Pod Squad.
The Pod Squad.
Yeah, that was a big one that I saw in the chat.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna come up with that. And just to give you guys a heads up, the next episode. Let me just look at the calendar. So the next episode, as I mentioned, the first Sunday of the month. In February, the first Sunday is the 6th. So you gotta wait a ways.
But if you have clicked the notification bell, you don't have to look at your calendar.
That's
YouTube will
right.
tell you.
It'll tell you. You gotta click the bell.
Click the bell.
Click the bell. Ding. So we have the Shangri-La cave dive episode coming up on
Gonna be a good one.
February 6th. It's a really good episode. You're gonna like it. And then 2 episodes in February. On the 20th, we're doing another short episode where me and my son and my wife went on a seal dive together. It's kind of a fun episode. And that'll be the first episode that's got our Tier 3 contributors in the credits. And Noah's going to handle that. And, right, Noah?
Yeah.
He says he's going to handle that. Somehow I have a funny feeling he's going to make me do it. But I don't know. We'll see. Any case, thank you for joining us.
Yes.
We'll see you out there in the blue world. Everybody, please leave comments on the videos. I get to them eventually. I love answering all your comments and reading all your questions. It's cool.
Yep.
Yeah, catch you on the flip side.
We'll see you next time.
Yeah, baby. Later, everybody.
Bye-bye.